Okay. Well, we are live today on this Monday. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. I put this topic together after the lives we did last week because, what I'm hearing a lot of from people is that there is this struggle with decision making, right? Like there's this struggle with self-trust. And for those of you who are jumping in here today, go ahead, let me know that you're here. How are you doing? How's everyone's Monday starting out? Happy Monday, happy powerful new week, right? So last week, for those of you who tuned in, we talked about self-trust and eliminating self-doubt. And as I was going along, what I was hearing from you all is that there was a struggle to really validate yourself, right? And so when a client comes to me and they're struggling with self-trust, or they're saying, I have a lot of doubt, it's because there's a few different things going on. And really, what it comes down to is there's a lack of connection with inside of yourself, you see. And you probably have a habit of going to others to validate you or to help you maybe what you think is build trust in yourself, right? But think about it. If you are having doubts about something, like if you are doubting you're going to be able to lose weight, you're doubting you're going to be able to make it in your business or to be successful, or you're doubting whether this relationship is going to work out, right? You're doubting like really important things. And you go to someone else. All you're going to get is that other person is going to put themselves in your shoes. And you're not going to get the advice you need from where you are now. That's the problem. Like when you go to someone else, you're just getting what they would do. And while that may be helpful, you cannot rely on that all the time, especially with these really important decisions. So what's missing here? Like, let's just make this really easy. What's missing here so that you can begin to start to trust yourself? What's missing so that you can let go of those feelings of doubt? And for those of you tuning in, happy Monday. Welcome. If you're watching from Facebook, I cannot see your comments. So be sure to jump in at the link. At the bottom of the description, you'll see a link in the description that says ecam.live. Be sure to jump in there if you want to interact and ask questions. So what's missing so you can really start to feel confident about all of the decisions you make? And this can happen, right? You can feel confident about any decision you make going forward. So what's missing here? What lacks when people come to me and they're like, I don't trust myself? There's a few things going on here. And like I said, what's really missing is this connection between you and yourself. It either hasn't been built, or you've built it and you've let others kind of muddy the waters. There's, one thing that used to drive me crazy, and maybe some of you can relate. One thing that used to drive me crazy, and it still drives me crazy, is getting unsolicited advice from people. Like unsolicited feedback, unsolicited comments, and unsolicited judgments about decisions I was making, things I was doing. And for those of you tuning in, also let me know if you can't hear me. Let me know if there's not any. Can you guys hear me okay? Are you all able to hear me? Please put yes in the comments or no, you can't hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I think you can hear me. So getting back into this topic here. What it comes down to, well, like I was saying, if you struggle with self-doubt and self-trust, you probably have a lot of people giving you their opinion and what they think you should do. Maybe unsolicited coaching, unsolicited advice. And the problem with this is it muddies what you're thinking. Like, people tend to get confused about what's their thoughts and what's others' thoughts. In fact, I spent half a session with a client last week just teaching them to discern their thoughts from others, their ideas from others, their feelings from others. Because this is what really creates confusion for you. Is you're not able to discern what are your ideas and what are someone else's ideas, or what are your judgments and someone else's judgments. And this is why so many people make decisions that they regret. It's because it wasn't your decision in the first place. It was somebody else suggested it, somebody else, thought it was a good idea. Stop doing what other people think is a good idea. It's never going to work out for you, right? Because it's not your idea. It's not coming from within inside you. Are you all hearing me now? Like, what are you hearing me say? For those of you tuning in, if you're missing this, I'm telling you, this is the probably one of the most important topics you could pay attention to on this page. Forget all the other stuff. If you haven't built this connection with yourself, nothing else matters. Right? If you can't discern your own thoughts and feelings and opinions and judgments from others, you're going to really have a lot of anxiety in your life. Because you can't like back up yourself. You can't validate yourself. And I lived this way for a long time. It was very treacherous. I always needed someone to validate. Maybe you're one of those people who goes to Facebook to try and validate yourself. Do you ever feel a compulsion to get onto social media and put out a great idea? And you're just hoping deep down somebody goes, yeah, do it, or gives you that thumbs up. This is something I used to do, and I continue to see others do. Do you run to social media for validation? Do you run to your friends for validation? Do you run to your parents, your people, like complete strangers, for validation to let you know this is a good idea? Very dangerous way to live. Because nobody knows you like you. Nobody knows you. Nobody will ever know you like you know yourself. Nobody can know you like you know yourself. And so for those of you joining, if you're not able, I can't see your comments that you post under the video, so be sure to join. If you want to interact, join the eCam link in the just bottom of the description. And hop on over here and we can interact live. Post your questions, post your comments. What's coming up for you right now? Like I said, this topic, if you pay attention to nothing else, this is how this is what's missing, so you can really start to move forward with confidence. And without having to run to your spouse or running to Facebook or social media for validation or to your friends. In fact, those resources are great for, they're more of an afterthought. They should be more of an afterthought for you. Like, go to them after you've made your decision. That would be a better route. It's like, know what's already good for you. And then go, if you want, you can sort of go get feedback from others. So how do we start to reconnect with ourselves so we can start to validate ourselves? Right? How can we start to create and get validation from within inside of ourselves? Because that's what's missing here, is this ability or the habits of a person who is able to validate themselves, right? And you notice, for those of you tuning in, I use the word intuition or your inner compass. So we all have an inner compass. We all have intuition. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's going to be the gap between what you know and what your gut is telling you. So if you've always wondered what your intuition is, it's that gap between what you know and what your gut is telling you, or what you think. It's always just thinking anyway. What you think and what your gut is telling you. And it's up to you to fill that gap. Nobody can fill that gap. Nobody can validate you. Here's a life-changing insight. This insight transformed my life when I realized this. Was that nobody can validate you. Nobody can validate what's going on inside of your body. Like, it's just impossible. It's impossible for others to validate what's going on inside of you, which includes your thoughts, your feelings, your agenda, your motives, your drives, right? What's important to you, like your values, and people cannot validate this for you. So can you see why, if you're running to others to validate you, why this cycle perpetuates? The cycle perpetuates because this doesn't work. Like, you're never like completely satisfied. You have to keep up this habit because it's not working. Can you see how running to Facebook for validation, putting up a post to get a thumbs up, running to your parents, running to your friends to get that thumbs up? What if you could get that thumbs up to yourself? What if you could give that thumbs up to yourself? And so here's what it comes down to give yourself validation. And what would it be like for you if you could give that to yourself, right? You didn't have to run to others. You could get feedback from others if you wanted, but your decisions didn't rely on that. Like, your decisions did not rely on the feedback you got. And then you'll stop making decisions that you later regret. The only time I've ever made decisions I regret is when I did what other people wanted me to do. So those are the only decisions I've ever regretted. What about you? Can you think of a time where you made a decision you regretted? Was it your decision? Was it your decision? Most of the time, it's going to be a no. So what are these layers we can start to peel back here? What is the solution for this? How can we start to build validation inside of ourselves? How can we start to find that thumbs up from within? Well, the first step here, right? I'm just going to go through these a little quickly because of time. But the first step here is to start to create a positive relationship with your inner critic. If you're always fighting with your inner critic, of course you're never going to be able to trust it. Like, think about it. If you were always fighting another person, would you be able to trust them if you were constantly having to fight them? Probably not. Right? And it's the same situation with you and your inner critic. If you have to constantly battle yourself, demean yourself, like get angry at yourself, are you going to trust yourself? Of course not. Of course not. So the first step to being able to create this connection between you and yourself is to first start to befriend your inner critic. Start to change your inner critic so it's not a critic at all. Change your inner dialogue so it's not a critic at all. That's how you befriend your inner critic, is to get rid of the criticizing. And turn it more into constructive feedback, right? Turn that inner critic into more constructive feedback and supportive feedback. The next step is going to be to stop the habits. And again, if you're joining in, be sure to join in the link in the description, or else I can't see your comments. But if this is resonating with you, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like on this video. Let me know this is resonating with you. This is so important, guys. It's time to lean in here and really pay attention. Because if you don't have this, life's going to be very treacherous. And you're going to be relying on people for the wrong things. And this is why you push away the right people. Because you rely on people. You rely on the right people for the wrong things. And that statement should hit home for a lot of you all. So stop the habits that undermine yourself. Meaning, if you make a promise to yourself, then keep it. If you're constantly breaking promises to yourself, how in the world are you going to trust yourself? If you're constantly breaking the rules you set in your life, your own boundaries, your own promises to yourself, of course you're not going to trust yourself. It's like, yeah, your integrity is compromised when you break promises with yourself. Your confidence is compromised. Your self-esteem is compromised. When you break promises to yourself, do you realize how much is at stake here? When you don't follow through. This is so critical, guys. And I can guarantee you, if you are struggling with your self-esteem or your confidence or your integrity or trust in yourself, it's because you're undermining yourself. You're undermining your own promises to yourself. You see? So this is what needs to change, is to start to behave in a way where you follow through no matter what. You follow through no matter what. Because nobody can follow through for you. And you're always communicating with yourself, with your body. And if you continue to set promises and don't do them, what you train your unconscious is that you set things and you don't do them. And there's one simple method that you can use to start to rebuild trust in yourself. One simple method that I teach all my clients. So stay tuned for that. Another point here, to the solution to rebuilding your self-trust is to start to really vet who you let into your life and whose advice you take. Start to really vet and filter. Like, choose your advice sources wisely. Choose your advice sources wisely. Stop letting just everyone comment and everybody, stop taking it what everyone says. Decide who you're going to listen to. Make a conscious decision to pay attention to this person or not. You gotta start to filter whose opinions you let into your mind. That's the next really critical point here. And the last one is, how does it feel when you don't trust yourself? Here's another very important way you can start to peel this back and get rid of self-doubt. Is, how do you feel when you're doubting yourself? What's the feeling there? I know for me, it was like anxiety. It was fear. So when you know what you're feeling behind the doubt, you can start to pay more attention to that feeling. And so that now becomes a moment where you pause and stop. And it's time to tune in and listen to yourself. So now you get to create a different meaning behind your anxiety and fear. The meaning is that it's time to stop and pay attention to yourself. And that's what these emotions become, a sign, a signal to pause. So how does it feel when you're doubting yourself? Or how do you feel when there's self-doubt? Right? And that's what you want to pay attention to. That means whenever you're feeling anxiety or stress about a decision or fear, those emotions now serve as a reminder to you that it's time to pause and not make any moves. Right? Instead of just flailing in the emotions, notice what they actually mean, why they're there. They're serving a purpose. So these are the 4 steps you can start to take to start to eliminate doubt in your life and step into trusting yourself all the time and step into validating yourself all the time. So let me know what you think of this video. Put your comments below. Let me know what resonated with you. And if you want to learn more, if you really want to dive in and learn how to do this, I'm hosting a masterclass on Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go more in depth here with how to actually do this. It's hard for me to show you how on a short video, but if you want to know more about how to, you want to take those steps with me, and I will walk you through the steps. Join me this Thursday from 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time for this self-doubt into self-trust masterclass. You should be getting that email a little bit later today. I will see you all there at the masterclass this coming Thursday. If this is not enough for you, you're still asking, how do I do this? Where do I start? Join us on Thursday. This is going to be the place to start. You can start to kick off your own journey. Get these tools for you. And also learn this one simple method that I use to install trust into myself. There was one simple thing that I started doing every single day. And that is what we're going to talk about on Thursday. So if this resonated with you, you're ready to learn how to get validation, how to connect to yourself, and make that the most important thing, to make decisions from your own gut, so you don't have to keep living with regrets. Then I will see you on Wednesday for our second live for the week, and also on Thursday for the masterclass. So everyone have a powerful and productive week, and I will see you all on the flip side.